NRL Fantasy Team Advice Wednesdays. Team Advice Wednesdays. Let's go, guys. Talking about everyone's fantasy sides. I've hit the marker there. It's 6 p.m. And now we've had a bunch of them sent through, about 14 so far in the last 30 seconds. A bunch more are coming through as well. So super excited for today, guys. Jumping on live to talk about fantasy teams. Now, for this week, before I do tear into everyone's sides, big advice here is you want to be focusing on making the minimum number of trades to achieve three things. One, enough players in round 17, so this week. Two, enough players next week, round 18. And three, getting as close as you can to your final keeper side. Now, trading in guys who are kind of that mid-ranger, not quite keepers, not the guys you want to keep long-term, probably doesn't help you with that. So I'm sort of steering away from starting a lot of those guys, but you can get someone in who is a bit of a cash out or, is someone who's a top gun, you want to do. So players like Jacob Preston, Eli Katoa, Jacob Carraz, these types of players are red hot options for this week. A lot of people asking some questions too. Let's hit those up. So let's go. Jake, good to see you, mate. Exquisite problem with an exquisite problem. Thoughts on Brayley starting at hooker? Brayley at hooker is Barry Toohey. Barry Toohey has mentioned that he's a good chance of holding that spot. Good chance of holding that spot long term. So that's pretty good news for Brayley, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I mean, I don't know if I believe he'll keep that spot long term. He doesn't play round 18. He is making a bit of cash right now, but Phoenix Crossland is their hooker for next year. They've let Brayley go, so I'm surprised at this strategy. I think they might change back. I don't know. It's a tough one. You can get Brayley. The upside is massive, but the risk is definitely there as well. So if you've got a few trades to spare, get Brayley. If you're very low on trades, I wouldn't do it. NRL Nas, fuming, mate. Look, I'm sure I'll be able to find yours as well. Otherwise, you get a written review there too. Would you sell Jazz now to Cook or keep Jazz? Sell Jazz now to Cook or keep Jazz? I'm not totally against selling Jazz to Cook. I mean, I think you probably want to keep Jazz. You would only do this trade if you believe that Damien Cook is a season keeper. That's the big thing there. If you think Cook's a season keeper, you can make that trade. Kraz, first try scorer this week. Hey, if Kraz scores a try, a lot of fantasy coaches are going to be very happy. Stratton Kings. Payne Haas is back. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you on the back of your 100-plus. Huge score. And looping Walsh and Fainu. Yeah, fair shout. That's a good pair of guys to loop. Walsh has pretty much unlimited upside. Now, let's turn to some teams here. We've got 29 teams have come through, so that's pretty much our roster filled, guys. We're pretty set here. So Dayman first, evening longy, love some help recovering from the colossal blunder of trading Haas to Jaden Campbell. Oh, that's a tough one. That's not great. 10 trades left. Somehow still ranked at 1600, but at this stage I need to focus all my energy towards head-to-head. Toughest matchup this week. Can afford one loss and still go top of the table. Couple loss and do 2 trades, or do I go for 3 trades and put up a fight? I think if you're head-to-head focus, then you focus on the finals. So if you've got trade, I mean, it's tough. How many trades exactly do you have left again? So you haven't mentioned how many trades you have left, but does it say here? No, you've cropped it out. Okay. Well, if you're head-to-head, you want to be saving trades. So Sharp and Lawson to Fainu and Walsh makes sense for you. You bank a bunch of cash. I don't mind that. Sharp, Lawson, Young to Walsh, Fainu, Preston. I actually think this is a better trade. And the reason I say this is not necessarily to buy points this week or next week, but Hudson Young, I think, is on the slide a bit. So dealing with injury, still play Origin. He'll miss round 19 as well. So he's got a bit of a dead period for you, whereas Preston's sort of on the rise. They're priced about the same. And I think Preston will average more than Young down the stretch. Like that's my view here. So I would run the triple trade. I think it's well worth doing for you. It's not a short-term thing either. Preston is an upgrade from Hudson Young, but also it helps you short-term too. So run the triple trade, mate, and you are well set. Mitch comes in. Hey, Longy, still got that top 100 badge, the King badge. Hey, Longy, thoughts on this? Went up a lot of ranks this week. So, my friend, 3 trades left after these 2. Okay, let's see. I mean, they're good trades. So Sharp and Pacific Tonga to Carraz and Fainu. As long as you view Carraz as a season keeper, this is a good trade. Now, I think Carraz is in that season keeper conversation, maybe that third wing fullback. I think Campbell and Latrell, number 1 and 2. But Carraz could be the third guy. So you're committing to keeping him for the rest of the year. These are good trades, but you really can't be making many more trades after this. You look like you're in a pretty strong position for round 18 as well. So, yeah, straight up, I think you're in a pretty good spot here. Forward pack's good. You got Donahue there for some cash gen. That's not bad as well. Yeah, you're well covered. The issue I would shout out here is Pacific Tonga to Fainu. With the number of trades you have left, you actually don't need to make this trade. So you've got Fogarty sitting in your starting side, and you've got Savala on your bench. So you don't actually need a half for round 18. In that case, I personally think Pacific Tonga to Fainu is a bit of trades. You just don't need to do it this week. So I would keep it really simple and just go sharp to Karaz, do the one trade there. You're not starting Fainu this week from memory. Yeah. So you're not even running Fainu. He's not even in your loophole, right? So yeah, don't buy Fainu. The Pacific Tonga to Fainu. Let Pacific Tonga be a bit of a dead spot in your team and just run the single trade. So only one trade this week for you, Mitch. Because at that ranking, right, you're sitting at a really good rank. Top 100 somewhere. I think from memory you were around 60 or 70. You want to save a few trades. And Latu Fainu is not going to be the guy who gets you up to the top. What's going to happen is one of your starting players is going to get hurt, and you're going to end up trading one of them for a top gun who actually makes a difference. So, yeah, single trade for you, Mitch. You're on here. Now, Quandale Dingle comes in. Hey, Longy, a bit stuck here. Any options for this week? Because I'm low on trades. Cheers, mate. So, 6 trades left for this week. 80K to use. Got a pretty solid roster here. You've got one spot on your bench that is red dot, and the starting side is all clean. Okay. Riley Smith and Fletcher Sharp definitely sells. Rob Toya is sellable as well. You have a few trades to use. That's a tough one. From scratch, it's a bit tricky. Yeah, next week, try to send me a couple of trade options, man. But from scratch, I would say reading into the team, you probably need a little bit of forward support, I'm guessing. So Jazz at hooker there. Duncan is in the forward pack. And then you've got May, Tarpane, Kalomatangi, Couchman. Okay, so you're actually all covered in the forwards. Then halves, you've got Hughes and you've got Savala, so you're covered there too. Center, I'm looking for round 18, by the way. Centers, Garrick is there. Turbo, Drinkwater in the fullback spots. You need 2 outside backs. You have Lawson, maybe. Okay, so for you, you need to target some outside backs. Really, that's what I'm seeing here. Now, I would basically we covered a lot of outside backs in buy hold sell this week, so I'd give that a look. The pod section in particular had a lot of them, but also the buys as well. Cheapies had a couple too. So my thinking for you would be you upgrade your wing fullback spot. Your wing fullback spot is a bit light. Fletcher Sharp obviously going down means that you've got a wing fullback of Yongi, Drinkwater, and Turbo, which I like your team in general, but it's one of the worst wing fullback trios that is going around, right? But you can easily upgrade it. That's the good thing. That's why I'm being so harsh. So Riley Smith out, Fletcher Sharp out. That's probably the easy play. You could sell Toya if you want to as well, but I would save him for later, save his cash in that trade for later. So Riley Smith and Sharp out. And then you buy Karaz, pretty easy one for you. And then you buy one of the sort of pod wing fullbacks. So Lehigh Hapawadi, Reese Walsh. You've got Drinkwater already, but Lehigh Hapawadi, Reese Walsh. You've got Turbo already too. You know, one of those sorts of guys, right? So look in that range. So you go Karaz and then maybe a Lehigh Hapawadi or a Reese Walsh or one of these types of players. So that's what I do for you. Double trade, upgrade the wing fullback spot, and you are set. All right, so good luck this week, man. Tearing up. Now, Sam, hey lads, I'll do a couple more, then I'll jump across some questions. Hey lads, trades for this week. This helps my round 18 cover and ranked over 5,000. So it's time to take a chance on a pod like Walsh. I like to hear that. Would you mind having a look at my looping situation if you think I've ordered it correctly? I actually ran a bit of an experiment with loopholes last week too, so I'll make a video on that. It's a bit of an advanced use case. But Sharp and Riley Smith out for Karaz and Walsh. Yeah, that's pretty much the trades I was recommending on the last one. Yeah, I think they're good trades. I think they're high upside trades. I think Walsh won't be that much of a pod, but he'll be a bit of a pod. And that takes your team to a pretty strong position. Yeah, you got the triple loop there. So Walsh, Turbo, Duncan. That puts you in a great position. You're all set, mate. You're all set. I think Drinkwater goes well against the Titans this week, by the way, especially without Jaden Campbell. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, run that triple loop. You're in a good position. Easy. Bang. In terms of the loophole situation, The only thing I'm going to check for here is the order of players playing. So if I jump to the NRL app, I'm just doing this on my phone. I want to make sure that Campbell plays after guys like Turbo and Duncan. So the Titans play last game of the round with the Cowboys. So yeah, Campbell's an effective loop. All right, you're set. You're set. You can then run Broncos and Manly. Just make sure they play early enough. So Manly play the second game of the round. Broncos play the fourth. And Duncan for the Bunnies plays in the sixth. Yeah, you got the perfect loophole set up, man. You'll be absolutely fine. Just order of play. That's the main thing there. But you got the flexibility with Jaden Campbell. So you've obviously looked into it. Then Phileel, my boy from Parramatta. Unfortunately for us, a couple of Riley Smith owners, we and Campbell, we struggled. But hey, mate, how good was it seeing Parramatta tear up for once? 36 points. I haven't seen Para score 36 in a long time, so I'm sure you were enjoying that one as much as I was, man. Now, let's see what you said. Rank 604, prime spot, man. My team in trades this week, looking at just one trade this week, with Sharp to Karaz. Looking at trading Riley next week to Teddy. 7 trades and decent dollars remaining. Thoughts on my bench and loophole? Okay, so for the team here, we've got Clark. Yep, all right, cool, solid, very solid team. Nico Hines, you're a truther like me. Kraz in there as well. Couch, Tavanga, Aitken, running a loophole with Latu, Fino, and Duncan. Sharp to Kraz is pretty straightforward, man. Like, I mean, you got 292K in the bank, so you could make another upgrade if you wanted to. You could do. When do the dogs play? When do the dogs play? That's kind of want to check. So, I mean, dogs play first. I was going to say maybe we target Preston for you or something like that. I guess you're pretty well covered though for round 18 already. So we don't really need Preston as much. I kind of want to use the cash, right? So you got 292K in the bank. You've got Riley Smith sitting there who's a sell. You could sell him for anyone at all. Or you could keep the money for later and upgrade later on. Both viable options. Is there a player that you're missing? You got Farmworth, you got Hughes, Hines, Karaz, Garrett, Drinkwater. Edge back row's covered for 18s. We're not going to really play with that. Middle forward spot for 18s, a bit dire. Aaron Clark's there, mate. You got a pretty nice side. So Jazz is your round 18 hooker, so you can't really move him. Be a bit of a waste of trade, and there's no one to upgrade to anyway. I guess part of me is toying with the idea of like a Riley Smith to Jacob Preston, but you've got the edge back rows already. You got Katoa and Aitken already for round 18. You got Couchman there. You got Kalamatangi. You probably don't need to trade. You're probably just going to keep the cash, I would say. It would upgrade your scoring this week to go, to Preston or something like that from Riley Smith, and you could play him over, either Latu Fainu or Jazz Tavanga. But in general, I probably don't think it's super necessary. The other thing I would say here is Jazz Tavanga, he's probably not super trustworthy for this week. So I'm looking at the order of play. Jazz plays at the same time as Latu Fainu. Okay, so they're in the same game. You can't loophole there. Yeah. Consider Riley Smith to Jacob Preston if you want to, but it doesn't help you round 18. Probably not necessary. Keep your cash, do your upgrades later. So I think that one trade might be fine there. But if you want to have a think about a second trade, just use an upgrade. Have a look at some of the guns and figure out if you do want to jump early on one of those guys. Now, Ben comes through. Honestly, no clue who to get this week. And Ben, by the way, no badge there. So make sure you jump into rank submissions here. Rank submissions is about 5 channels down. You just drop your screenshot of your team in there, and you join the league, and you can actually get a rank there. So no clue who to get this week. Not the most keen on Hughes. Other trade options would be appreciated. Thank you, Longate. No worries, mate. So Sharpie, Smith, and Lawson out for Karaz, Fino, and Hughes in. Yeah, look, they're good trades. Karaz is a keeper. Hughes serves a purpose here, and Latu Finu's a cash out. You're getting rid of Lawson's red dot. Yeah, a couple of guys you want to sell. I think those are pretty straightforward trades. Like they're pretty banger. You're buying 3 of the guys that are pretty red hot right now. Does it work for your team? Is my next question. Hughes and Finu there and Savala. So you're probably not maximizing value for round 18, but that's okay because you got Teddy. You got King Tongia as well. With King Tongia there, I'm a bit less keen on Latu Finu for you. I guess the question becomes, who else would you go to? Does it leave you with any cash? There's probably not that many other options, but I'm almost not that keen on Latu Fino for you. What are your numbers like for 18? So you've got Graz, Garrick, Drinkwater in the back line, and then Turbo, Tedesco. Okay, so you're all good there. Your halves are all good. We talked about that. Katoa, Kalamatangi, Tarpane, May, Cook, and we need one more forward on the bench. You got you and Aitken there. You got Jazz as well. You're covered for round 18. In that case, I think it's absolutely fine. Tear into these trades. You don't need numbers for 18 anyways. You're well covered. So jump onto those, mate. But just make sure you're thinking about that future team. That's the big thing there. And just if you do need to save a couple of trades, I don't think this is the week to do it. I think Sharp, Smith, and Lawson are all very sellable this week, so you can move off them. One thing you could do, actually, here's one thing I would consider. I would consider not doing the Lawson to Latu Finu trade. Depending on how many trades you have, I think that trade is a bit of a nothing trade. Latu Finu, he's going to make some cash, all that sort of thing. But I don't know. I just think Lawson is there. Bit of a red dot. Latu Finu is not historically a great scorer in reserve grade in the halves. He could come out and kill it. I do like him a lot this week, but I just think Lawson to Latu Finu, if you're low on trades, if you're at like 5 trades or even less than that, which you've cut the screenshot to not let me see it, so I reckon you're pretty low on trades, I would probably not do Lawson to Latu Finu. Because later on, you think later in the year when you've run out of trades, if Kalamatangi goes down and Haas goes down or they get a rest or whatever it is, you're going to want that trade back. And that trade then is worth more than it is now. So I would skip the cheapie swap myself. And before I go into Billy Walters' team, let's quickly jump into the chat because everyone who sees live, you got to get a bit of love as well. Now, what do we got? Would you sell Jazz now to Cook or keep Jazz? I'm thinking we probably keep Jazz unless you think Cook's a keeper. That's the big thing. Then is Metcalf a sell? Metcalf's been fantastic. He's been fantastic. Like Metcalf's been really good. So I think you want to try and hold Metcalf if you can. Kraz, I hope he gets a 45. Yeah, I mean, he might. He gets a few of those. He hasn't scored that many tries this year though, so he might be due some try scoring increases as well. Lawson to Finu or Mason, unless you need the numbers for next week, I wouldn't make either of those trades. But if you need numbers for next week, then buy the position that you require. It's as simple as that. Hey, Longy, Colo pod captain. Need to make up for captaining JC last week. So you want your pod captain last week and you want to pod up again. I don't mind Kalamatangi this week. Not a bad shout. Who does South play? They're up against the Dogs. No, the Dolphins. Yeah, Dolphins not a bad matchup. Dolphins are undersized in the middle. And as much as the Dolphins have been fantastic recently, I think Kalamatangi is a big shout. Where's the graphics, man? The new standard has been set. Look, that's buy, hold, sell, guys. Buy, hold, sell is our grand show. That's our grand show. All this live stuff is more laid back. We're just hanging out in the lounge room together kind of vibes. So no graphics for this one. Then 10 trades. Yeah, okay. You can flush a few trades then if you want. Lawson to Colquhoun or from the Sharks. Colquhoun is a bit dicey. I see them, with Oregon coming back this week, possibly squeezing his minutes a bit. So I wouldn't jump on Colquhoun. I would just keep Lawson. Got Kraz, Garrick, Drinky, and Teddy for round 19. What center wing fullback? So you got Kraz, Garrick, Drinky, Teddy. You're probably thinking about... It's a tough one. You could go Turbo if you want to. It's a bit dicey. You go Reece Walsh, Leha Hopewadi is around there, Ryan Pappenhausen. They're all a bit dodgy. So you kind of have to look and just, have a look at the teams and have a think about which team is going to be in good form and then pick that one, really. Just have a look at the fixtures because all the options that you're looking at there, none of them have the best base stats, but they're all massive attacking stat guys. So that's what you're looking to hunt for. So just which team do you think is going to go well? Do you think it's the Storm? Do you think it's Manly? Do you think it's, whoever else? That's how you make your call there. Can I see what my team reviewed? Okay, stream. Okay, yep. All right, Noz, I'll get to yours. Yours will be the last one. Yours will be the last one because you're always such a hype machine, mate. So I'll get to yours the last one. And you got 30. Is that 30 trades? Crazy. Wong Sharp, Riley Smith, Preston Kraz, Pabs, Fino. Yeah, they're all good buys. Yeah, I would do that. That's a tough one. Why is he being called this? Why is Mazu getting this nickname? Hines, yeah. Look, Hines is going to do a job for us. And then is Preston worth tearing a team apart to get? Already have Couchman, Katoa, and Colo plus Lucas at center. I don't think Preston's worth tearing a team apart. Like Preston's good, but he's priced at what he's priced at. He's just a great option if you need to upgrade this week, but don't tear a team apart to get him. Then basically, by the way, you only tear your team apart to get a guy if they're massively undervalued or if they're a captain option. They're the two. Wong Sharp, Riley Smith to Preston, Kraz, Pappenhausen, 100k remaining, 5 trades remaining. Wong Sharp, Riley Smith. Yeah, yep. Mate, easy. If you're buying 3 players from the buyers and the pods and the cheapies, sort of section there, and you're selling 3 guys that are in the sells in the video, generally I'm going to say yes. that's pretty straightforward one, Flynn. So you've got that. Lock that in. It's a great trade. LPT to Latu. So Pacific Tonga to Latu. Only 5 trades left. I wouldn't do it unless you need the numbers for round 18. So again, I'm sort of repeating myself, but if you need the numbers for round 18, you make that trade. If you don't need a half for round 18, you do not make that trade. What to do with Hot Boy? You can sell him. You can hold him. I don't think it's worth selling him just yet. I said 45 because I don't have him. Yeah, okay, fair enough. And Kraz, first try scorer and a hat trick. Hey, a lot of people are going to be very happy if that happens. I reckon I'll need a spare mid for 18, thinking May or Kolomatangi make the Blues side, potentially, but you can address that next week. So just don't make the trade this week. Do it next week instead. Garrick, the 40 guy, not Kraz. Yeah, 40 if we're lucky. And then no worries, nice. All good, mate. Would you do a Lawson to Mason now for next week? Only if you need the numbers. If you need the numbers, then yes, go ahead and do it. I will never sell my GOAT, Hudson Young. ABM, by the way, shout out to him. He was captaining Hudson Young in like round 9. Like before anyone was on Hudson Young, ABM was on Hudson Young. So shout out to you, mate. You were the first man to jump on the Hutto. Then is Hotboy to Finu sideways. Instead, wait till Origin teamless and cash down Burton to Finu to make cash. Hotboy to Finu only if you need the players next week. It's tough though because you've got Burton there. It sounds like Burton will be the 18th man. So I would assume Burton doesn't play next week and I would buy Finu. Sharp, Toya, Riley Smith, Trelmet, Cook, and Donahue. They're a bit more head-to-head focused, these trades. So you're not really covering round 18. But if you're set for round 18, if you're head-to-head, then pull the trigger, man. And then why don't you do the ones before 6 p.m.? So I jump in and do the ones that are sent right on 6 p.m. on the live video. So that's really because when I started doing it originally, I would do them from the very start. What would happen is the people who had sent them earlier in the day often weren't on the live video, so then didn't see their review, right? So what we do is everything is sent on 6 p.m. We work from 6 p.m. down, and that means that everyone who's sending it across and watching the live is getting their team reviewed live. Everyone else who sent theirs through, I do a bunch of written reviews later too. So I'll write them up. Basically, I'll tag you. It'll be in that Rate My Team channel, and I'll give you some written advice there as well, which is just as good. But it's on the live. But for next week, yeah, jump on it like right on 6 p.m. right on 6 p.m. because it is very competitive. Then hey BABM, I'm in a comp with you. Hey, good shout. You might be in the casual athlete comp there. Long, how many trades do you have? I've got 7. I didn't use any trades last week, so 7 trades. I'm feeling pretty good. I think that's a nice number for me. I've got a few things I need to address on my side, and I've got some end game keepers lined up that I'm watching right now too. I have 8 trades left. Fletcher Sharp for Preston or Karaz. I have Scott Drinkwater. So Fletcher, Preston or Karaz. Drinkwater, Garrick, Munro, wing fullbacks, Haas, Maytap, and AFB, Couch, Galar, Aiken. I mean, it's personal preference there, man. Like they're both good options. They were the first 2 guys on the buyers list. I'm probably leaning towards Preston as a slightly lower origin risk and slightly less injury risk. So I'd probably go Preston, but they're both good options. So I trade Sharp for Kraz or Drinky. Kraz is the premium option. Drinky is value. If you can use the money elsewhere, I think Drinky is better value than Kraz. That's controversial after his last 2 scores. Thoughts on Kolomatangi pod? Yeah, I mentioned that one. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm in 20 League 1 with him head-to-head. Nice, man. Cheers, you're a legend. No worries, big dog. Now let's keep tearing through these teams. So Billy Walters is the GOAT. Hey, Longy. Just got a couple of questions here today. Injury of Sharp and the sell of Riley Smith gives me over 1.2 mil in the bank to spend. Should I just go Smith, Jaden Brelly, hold Sharp in the bank? Cleary, or go Riley Smith, Jaden Brelly, Sharp to Jacob Preston. Find another way to get Cleary later. I think there'll be enough ways to get Cleary that you don't have to worry about it too much right now, as long as you have the trades in the bank. That's the big thing. So I would say get Preston now. Get Preston now. I think it looks good in your side too. Look how good he looks there next to you and Aitken. And you've got, Pierce Paul. He doesn't play next week. So, yeah. Tavanga, Braley. Yeah. And you got Cook there as well. Okay. So you're pretty flush at this stage. You got a lot of hooker options, actually. So Jazz will go pretty soon. I guess my question to you is, do you want to buy another hooker? Because you've got Aaron Clark. got Dayman Cook. Brayley is there. Brayley could make bulk cash, be very useful, but he's a little risky. I know. I'm still reconsidering Brayley. Like the news on Brayley came through after we did buy hold sell, that he's looking more likely to hold that spot. Just you're relying on Phoenix Cross on the future hooker of the Knights to say it lock, especially when certain players come back as well. We saw Jacob Savidi come back; he held the spot, but how long does that last? I like the trades though. I'm going to say yes to pulling the trigger on these trades. The one thing I would shout out here, and it's hard to address because your team is fantastically deep, like you're in a really good position, is I would try to find a way. It's hard to do. I'd try to find a way to get Purdue into your scoring equation somehow. So maybe run a loophole with Brayley and Purdue potentially instead of Jazz. The reason for that is I think Purdue up against the Titans, like you're ranked 171. You don't have to do this, but if I was you sitting at this rank, I would sort of be thinking, all right, what can I do that's a bit spicy? What can I do that's a bit, just a chance of getting me up there? Now, Purdue's going back to center, where he scored really well at the start of the year. He's playing against the Titans without Jaden Campbell, who just conceded 36 points to Parramatta without their starting halves. I think Purdue's on for a special this week, but I wouldn't play him over Lucas. I wouldn't play him over Farmworth. I wouldn't play him over Aitken or Preston. I wouldn't play him over Pierce Paul. I wouldn't play him over Couchman or Clark. And I mean, maybe Cook. Maybe play him over Cook. You could move Clark into your starting spot, but I'd definitely play him over Jazz. So maybe you put Brayley in that emergency 5, and if Brayley doesn't go great, you move Jazz into interchange 4. Not Jazz, sorry, Purdue. That's the one thing I'd think about there, but I think your trades are good. I think Brayley, he's a beefy scorer, so I don't mind that move for you at all. Now, Dano, hi Longy, my team after potential trades. Also, Dano's the purple there. So just so you guys know, if you are in the mid-ranger or guns section, if you want to upgrade, by the way, just shoot me a DM. But mid-ranger and guns, you get access to the Fantasy Lounge. So I'm just hovering over it on the left side, down the bottom. Fantasy Lounge, 8 p.m. Wednesday. It's a live chat that we do. Basically, it's a group call between all the mid-rangers and guns, and we go through everyone's teams and sort of talk a bit of strategy as well. So that one's a bit more interactive. We're just on a call, and Turtle shares a lot of ideas too, as well as a bunch of other legends. Now, let's see your team. My team after potential trades, looking at Katoa, starting Fino at half doesn't sit well with me. Fair enough. Also, another 4 trade option I'm looking at. Fichetti will be a backup for Keon if you select it for Origin. What's your thoughts? So we got Sharp, Bostock, Jenkins, Riley Smith. I think these are all reasonable guys to sell. Unlucky with Bostock there. Fino, Katoa, Fichetti, Kraz. So Katoa and Kraz are keepers. You're selling 1 keeper in Sharp. You're buying 2 keepers. So I like that shuffle. Fichetti is a high upside guy. Victor Radley's out for about a month, so Fichetti could be very good through this period. He's shown some explosive ability. He's also shown that the PPM with the work rate isn't the best, but the attacking plays are there, and he's getting the minutes right now. And Wong's out as well, obviously. Latu Fainu, good option there too. If you're not going to start him, it's a little tricky, but I guess you're using him for round 18. And the other option is just Fainu and Katoa. I think getting Kraz and Fichetti really does beef you up. 4 trades left is a bit low, but yeah, okay. So this is just with the double trade. This is without Kraz and without Fichetti. So without Kraz and Fichetti, you're running Jenkins in your team, Purdue, Fino in the loophole. I like Purdue this week, as you know. Turbo, Walsh, Garrick. Okay, Katoa. In this case, I'm actually sort of looking at this and thinking, right, you're back 3. Just looking at numbers, you got Purdue there as well. So you need extra number for round 18 anyway. I guess the question is, do you want to make 2 extra trades right now or next week? Fichetti's going up in cash, so you probably can't afford him next week. Kraz, is he an upgrade in scoring this week enough for you to do it? You'd be playing him over Jenkins or maybe Turbo at center. You could also run a loophole at wing fullback if you buy Kraz, because you can plug Kraz in and you can run like a Turbo and Reece Walsh kind of loophole using Jaden Campbell, plays at the end of the round. I think it's worth doing the 4 trades this week, man. Do the 4 trades and start Kraz and run a loophole with Walsh and Turbo at wing fullback as well to maximize value. And then play Fichetti, though, becomes a bit of a loopholer too. So maybe run a loophole with Fichetti and Fino and you'll be sweet. So yeah, man, I'd tear into that. I think you're in a good position though. That's it's pretty nice 4 trades. Sets you up well for next week. Little Josh Solo. We're still at 6 p.m. Evening, Longy. New graphics on buy, hold, sell look awesome. Guys, I'm chuffed with the graphics on buy, hold, sell. Got a bit of help from a friend as well, Josh, who loves this stuff. Helped me set them up. But then I was in the office late editing last night. I think I left the office at about 4 a.m., which is absurd. But hey, I like the night times anyway, so I do this stuff. So yeah, stoked with how the graphics look. Now let's go through Josh Solo's trade here. As unfortunate as Sharp's injury was, it doesn't ensure that I have 13 for round 18. However, is Karaz the best option for my team? As I'm loaded with wing fullbacks. Am prepared to go with Sasangi and then get a couple of guns in round 19 and 20. Okay, let's see these trades. So we've got Sharp to Karaz straight up, 6 trades left. I like the sound of that. Sharp to Sasangi, bank a bunch of cash, 6 trades left. You're a bit low on trades to be playing with too many guys like Sasangi. That's kind of my thought there. But I guess you don't have that many other dead spots in your team. Like your team is pretty deep again, pretty solid. Latu Finu is a little bit of a problem at some point in the future. Sasangi is a problem at some point in the future. Duncan, maybe Garrick, Turbo, possibly Cook, but probably not. Otherwise, it's a pretty strong side across the board. So I would still be going Karaz though. I think you just beef it up, grab another keeper. It puts you further ahead. Like you're in a very strong position. You're ranked 925 right now. So if you just continue to beef up the roster, this is a better roster than a lot that I've seen. So you're in a good spot here. Run the Karaz trade, man. Run the Karaz trade. You'll find ways to make money later on. Like there's going to be injuries and problems we have to deal with later. Now, Aiden, hey Longy, thoughts on trades and loop? So we got Sharp or Karaz. And then for your team, Sharp for Karaz vice captain. Plays first game of the round, so I don't mind that. I was going to say you don't want a vice captain, a guy you're trading in, but he plays the first game, so he locks out straight away anyway. Then we've got a pretty solid bench here. Tavanga, Purdue. Yeah, sweet little loophole. I think you're going to be playing Purdue this week. That's my guess. I just think Purdue kills it this week. Rank 591. Payne Haas, pod captain. Yeah, this is cheeky. This is a good side, man. This is a good side. Run that single trade. 5 trades is a little low, but if I use 2 trades this week, I'll be on 5 as well. So I might end up the same as you. So 5 is okay. It's on the low end of okay, though. You sort of want to be 5 to 8 trades at this point. And I trade hard too, man. So I'm with you there. But run that single trade. That's an easy option. Sharp to Karaz. Across the board, by the way, if you're watching along and you're thinking about that trade, it's a good trade. It's a good trade. The risk is, an injury to someone. Kraz makes Origin, but it's quite a low risk at this stage. So Mount Druit comes in. Pretty straightforward one this week. The 2 trades will make a full team through 17, 18, and 19. Thoughts? Would you do anything else to get into the top 100? Riley Smith, Fletcher Sharp, Hughes, and Kraz, mate, bang, bang, like those. Would I do anything else? I mean, team looks pretty good. McInnes is kind of rubbish lately for fantasy. Love him as a player, but for fantasy, it's not been great. Kraz, Drinkwater, Aiken, Cook, Tavanga, Hughes, Donahue on the loop. It looks good. It looks good. I don't think you need to do too much. Like if you've got the full sides for those rounds, your squad is strong enough that you can do that as well. I wouldn't shake it up too much outside of that. You could think about moving McInnes on for someone, but I just don't know even what you would do. You don't have a lot of cash there. I think it's better to save those trades for post Origin. So yeah, man, run that. You got 5 trades left. Again, like we said before, that's a pretty good number, especially with your coverage for 17, 18, and 19. It's your boy here. So we got it's your boy Jaci. Hey Longy, don't mind the trades I've done while having 1 trade left. But the only downside is I play Lawson next week. In the centers, if he's named. Let me know your thoughts on if I should do this or change anything. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Oh. Oof. Oh. Oh, that's scary. Okay. So 1 trade left is tough because we only get new trades in round 20. So you're in a position where I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And I mean, the first one I'm going to say no to is Purdue to Walsh. Just don't do that. That's easy. Fletcher Sharp and Riley Smith out. Donahue and Hughes. I think with so low trades, yeah, probably. Like, I don't mind if you want to sell Riley Smith and Fletcher Sharp. I'm actually super okay with that, even though you have low trades. I would try to sell them for at least one keeper. That's my big thing here. So I don't think you get Donahue, man. I like Donahue a lot. I just don't think you get him. I think you use the money and you go to a keeper. Do you have enough second rowers for next week? So you got Couch, Kalamatangi, and then you've got May, Tarpanay. So I think you're a bit short in the second row for next week anyway. Yeah, yeah. You're short in the second row for next week anyway. Instead of getting Donahue, just get Jacob Preston. Then you get a keeper at least in your team. You can plug him in for next week. He's a better scorer than Donahue in general as well. So yeah, grab Jacob Preston, full buy round coverage, ace. That's the play. Get yourself a keeper. Hopefully two keepers with quite low trades. You want Hughes to be a keeper too. Leaves you with two trades left, a bit less cash in the bank. So you have a bit of flexibility, but then you kind of want to hold trades from there. So just get Preston and Hughes for Sharp and Riley Smith and Purdue. I'm sorry, mate. He's a starter for you in the centers. So don't do that trade. He covers you for round 18 anyway. That's the good news with Jackson Purdue. Crooks, hey, Longy Casual. Also, by the way, with Jackson Purdue, his average at center is very similar to Reece Walsh's average at fullback this year. Probably better than this year. But in general, I think the production they can put out is quite similar. So I would just keep Purdue. I think going back to center, I think he kills it this week. And I'm saying it a lot. I've got Purdue on my side as well. It's probably a bit of bias. Crooks, thoughts on these trades? You're short at wing, fullback, or center for round 18. I think you're grabbing Heath Mason, could do either Burton, Hosking, Tavanga, Ponga, as they won't be my starting round 18 team. Will most likely do that trade next week. So I guess my question is, which one of these guys that you're thinking about selling is the closest to a season keeper? I think Ponga has a bit of keeper potential. Ponga's done it before. He could do it again. The Knights are missing Fletcher Sharp now. I think that might see an uptick in Ponga's involvements in that sort of wide, sweeping sort of running play. So I think we see a big uptick in attacking stats for Ponga down the stretch. So I'd keep Ponga for sure. So it becomes a question of Burton, Hosking, or Tavanga. Which one is more of a keeper, I guess? So Burton's a bit of a mess, like with playing Origin. Hosking plays round 18. You need him for round 18. So that's probably one you keep. And Tavanga is good depth as well for round 18 too. Do you have a spare hooker? You got Damien Cook, so you could move off Tavanga. It's either Burton or Tavanga for mine. Look, Tavanga is going to have to go at some point in the near future anyway, but you have a lot of trades in the bank. You have 10 trades, right? So 8 after 2, so 10 trades. So yeah, I'd probably actually, sorry, just quickly. I mean, you got cash in the bank. You could, well, hey, actually, here's one trade you could do. You could just add an extra. So if you do Fletcher Sharp and Lawson to Karaz and Mason or Finu or whatever it is, you could add a third trade and you could go Hosking to Preston, for example, or something like that. I don't mind Hosking to Preston. That's a plotter for a Top Gun. So you could pull the trigger on that trade. You got heaps of trades, man. So I would probably do the triple trade. I would add Hosking to Preston. And I know I'm saying to a lot of people don't sell Lawson, but if you've got 10 trades in the bank like Krooks does, then you have a bit more flexibility. Fantasy Triple H. It's time to play the game. Time to play the game. Hey, Longy, just thought, just 5K short of swapping Sharp to Karaz. And before we get into him, actually, let's grab on a few chat questions. I've got to make sure I hit that up too. So what have we got here? No worries, mate. Then Billy Walters better than Cam Smith. That is a big call. Big call. You probably shouldn't drink this early in the evening, mate. Nathan Lawson, for who? I probably wouldn't be doing it. DM me just on Discord. So yeah, usually you can find me in there. So do that. If you haven't joined already, by the way, it's in the description. It's whop.com, WHOP.com / the casual athlete. Is Laker Halasima a sell? Yeah, on the bench. Yeah, I think he is. AFAX, good to see you, bro. Good to see you. 7 trades left. Sharp and Lawson to Karaz and Jed Stewart. I think Lawson to Jed Stewart is a bit gross, so I wouldn't do that part. or Sharp, Lawson, KPP, Hosking. Nah, you're just shuffling chairs there. Just keep it simple. I think just go Sharp to Karaz and sit on that for next week and then make the moves. Because Jed Stewart, he's no guarantee to keep his spot either. Lawson can come back in. It's a bit of a mess. Do you think it's worth using a trade to bring in Cook for Jazz? I actually think this is not a bad trade. If you have 8 or more trades in the bank and you view Cook as a guy you're happy to hold for the rest of the year, this is a good trade. If you're lower than 8, if you're at sort of 5 to 7, it's a coin toss up to you. And if you're below 5, I wouldn't do it. Who's the cheeky captain option this week? I'm just above 1K in ranks. I want to get in the top 1K. You can go, I mean, Haas isn't that much of a pod, but Haas is a bit of a pod captain. May is not a pod. Kolomatangi could be a good shout. Couchman doesn't have that ceiling, that sort of super upside there, so I probably wouldn't do him. Aaron Clark just doesn't have that attacking play in him, I guess. Nathan Cleary, no one's going to do that. No one's going to do that. That's the pod. If you want the top ceiling pod captain, it's Nathan Cleary. Like, no one's going to captain him this week. But if he doesn't goal kick and all that sort of thing, then you know what I mean? That's the tough part there. So, yeah. Hey, Longy, who's your captain this week? I haven't decided yet. I'm probably going to stick in the forward pack, I would say. But maybe Cam Munster. No, I wouldn't do Cam Munster. My captain this week, I mean, usually we do a big captain review on Thursday. So 6:30 p.m. You guys might have seen it. The new live show we do on Thursdays. We're going to have a big group on next one. But 6:30 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. on Thursday before the first game of the round. That's when we do a big captain review and talk about those last-minute captain choices. So that's what we'll do. What's the link to the server? I'll drop it into the chat, but it's also in the description of the video too. So let me just grab that. All right, chat. Popped it in there. It's discord.com/a bunch of random letters. Now, let's see. Anything else here we want to hit on? Hey, Longy, how many players do you have from your original round 1 team? That's a tough one. Who do I have? Probably not many. Not many. I mean, I had Grant Hooker. I had Terrell May, of course. Wow. Jackson Purdue. Still got him. And there's been a few guys who have been in and out. I don't know if there's any more. Definitely those two. Let me know, guys. Are there any players that you guys have had for the whole year? NRL, no, I was excited for the new league game. I was actually pondering doing a bit of streaming for it, actually. So what I was thinking was I could start a separate channel, like casual, whatever the game is called. It's not Rugby League Live 5, but you get my drift, right? And then do a bit of streaming of the game, but then also run competitions for anyone who wants to play. And we could run like full, leagues where everyone takes a different team and, run seasons, that kind of thing, and sort of do recaps and a bit of content around it. I think that'd be pretty fun. I did post a story about it, where, like, who's playing the game, and a lot of people who follow the casual athlete are keen for the game as well. So that could be fun. And Jake, good to see you. You got to change your name on YouTube to be Fantasy Triple H, so I can remember. KPP SL, I would hold KPP for sure. Noah's with 8 trades, cruising there. Herbie is a captain, not bad. Grant, yeah. Cam Munster captain. Look, Munster's going to be a captain at some point the rest of the year. Maybe like round 25, I'll think about doing something crazy like that. Terrell May captain is a fair shout. They to Walsh or Laker to Paps. Laker to Paps, I think, is a pretty good shout. Paps since round 1. Wow, that's a commitment. May, Garrick, Cleary. Yeah, Garrick, yeah. Okay, and Cleary, Clares. Firma, May and Cleary. Yeah, okay, so a few. Casual gamer. Yeah. Casual gooner. How do you join the elite coaches? I'll just pop that in there as well. So it's just this link here, .com/the casual athlete. So that's it there, guys. And just before Clintos, sell Munster. How dare you? How dare you? That's sacrilege. I'll just leave that up there too. So if you guys do want to get your team review, all that sort of thing, it's wop.com/the casual athlete. You can jump on for a free trial of mid-ranger or cheapie. So if you do the mid-ranger one, you can join the call later as well. If you do cheapie, that's fine too. It's just weekly on Wednesdays that we do that. But you've got till about 10 p.m. to submit your team in Rate My Team. So I'll do all the written ones until about 10 p.m. and then that's when the cutoff is. And yep, sweet to join. Okay, so Fantasy Triple H. Let's see. the martial arts display picture on YouTube. Sharp to Kraz, you're 5K short. You had no money in the bank. Nothing at all. Okay, let's see this team. So Sharp to Kraz would have been great. It would have been great. It would have made your team perfect. Can't really move Lawson either. King Tongia's there. It's just so sideways. You could do like King Tongia to Latu Finu, but it's just not worth it. And I think King Tongia will go well this week. He's up against Para, who Para have been solid recently, but I think King Tongia will find a few lanes in that game. So it's tough. It's a really tricky one. You might have to go for a different option. You got a lot of trades. You got a lot of trades in the bank, so you could do something here. Maybe the only thing I can think of is Nathan Lawson to Jed Stewart. That's the only thing I can think of there. Nathan Lawson to Jed Stewart. Also, shout out to Slow Cage, who just joined up. Good stuff, man. I'll see you soon. But Nathan Lawson to Jed Stewart, I think that's probably the way to make the money. You get a green dot in your team at least. You got 8 trades in the bank, so you're in a pretty good trade position. Otherwise, you either do those 2 trades or you go sharp to Karaz, Pappenhausen, Leo Hapawadi, one of these types of guys instead. They're your 2 options here. I'd probably rather do the 2 trades. I'm going to say do the 2 trades, man. That's my advice. Johnny Klein, hey mate, head-to-head focused, sharp, and I'll just sort of quick fire a bit because we're approaching the hour here. So sharp to Karaz this week. We'll need a mid-edge, half center for round 18. Advice. I love the look of Buy Holtzell. Cheers, man. Look, sharp to Karaz, banger. Man, 10 trades. He had 11 trades coming into this week. You're in a great position, mate. You're in a great position. Rank there, you can absolutely rise. With the trades you have left, you could be in the top 1,000 by the end of the year, man. So team looks really solid. You got the Brayley pod. I love the look of that. Mate, this is a better team than the rank suggests, by the way. So I think you're gonna be on a riser, man. Yeah, do it simple. Kraz in. It works for you. You want to run a bit of a loophole here. So you could run a loophole with the wing fullback spot as well. So I would probably use Hope as part of your loophole if you can, or Savala actually. So what you need to do is put Campbell in the starting wing fullback spot and run a loophole between Munro and Turbo for starting wing fullback. So basically, whichever one of them is higher on your bench at the end of the round will auto emergency in. And then you want to move Savala into interchange 4 and Tavanga into emergency 5. And you're running a second loophole there as well. So, or you could do it with Colhoun instead. So that probably Colhoun actually over Jazz. So that's what I'd say. Shoot me a message in level 1 if you're not sure about that, but just give that a go. Try to put together that loophole, and you should be sweet, man. Cade, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing amazing. I am doing amazing, man. Life is good. The world is a beautiful place, even though it's bloody winter. So stuck with who to buy. Need 2 centers. Only one if Lawson plays. Yeah, we can deal with that. When you're head-to-head, okay, cool. So if you're head-to-head focus, you don't have to stress too much. Sharp to Finu, 400K in the bank. You got trades, man. I don't think you need to handicap yourself too much. I'm not obsessed with getting Latu Finu. And like if you're head-to-head focused, you're not that focused around 18. You've got King Tongia anyway. Who's your other half? Oh, you don't have Savala. Oh, okay. So you actually kind of need the half. Oh, you got Jerome Hughes. Sorry. Yeah, so you don't need Latu Finu. I wouldn't do it. I would personally look to upgrade a genuine top scorer. So either you got both Firma there. Just have a think about this, but like Preston or Karaz, like go for a top gun. You can afford them. You can afford basically whoever you want there, but Preston or Karaz, I would target one of those 2, man. Probably Karaz just to beef up your backline because your backline it's not bad, but it's a bit lightweight. So yeah, Preston or Karaz in for Fletcher Sharp. I'd skip Latu Fino. I don't think you require him, man. And it's a simple 1 trade. You keep yourself at 7 trades. It's a good amount to have. You want not to use too many because for head-to-head, you want to have a lot at the end. CJ3616. Here's what I'm thinking. I need 2 wing fullback for next round. Do it this week or next week. Yeah, instead. Okay. 12 trades left. Riley Smith, Sharp, Kraz, Mason. Yeah, that's fine, man. You could upgrade to Walsh instead if you want to, or Leo Pawadi or one of these guys. But Heath Mason's going to do a job for you for about 4 weeks. He'll then become a red dot in your team, and your team doesn't have any other red dots. You don't have any other dead spots, so you can afford to get him, basically. Yep, bang, pull the trigger, man. Pull the trigger. If you had Lawson and a few other guys like that, I would possibly say no, but because you don't have them, you're in a good spot. Only Ducky, hey Longy, need 2 wing fullbacks this week, looking at Sharp to Karaz between Lehigh, Walsh, and Mason. Kind of chosen Mason for now to save some cash. Yeah, I don't mind that move. Okay, so Lehigh, Walsh, or Mason in this trade here, 79K in the bank. Well, if you get someone that isn't Mason, you're going to have to downgrade Katoa or Karaz. I think they are season keepers. So, yeah, you're moving on 2 mid rangers, a keeper, and a dead spot for 2 keepers and 2 cash cows. Yeah. It's tough though, because you do only have 3 trades left after this. Do you need Mason and Finer? So you got Savala and Hughes. Again, here, I'm going to do it again. You don't need this Lawson to Finer trade. Scrap that. Scrap that completely. Take that out. Have 4 trades in the bank instead. You don't need the half because you have Savala and Hughes. So and King Tonga. So you don't need Finer, man. So skip that part. Make it 3 trades. Just skip the top one. Add the rest in, and you're in a great spot, man. You want to try and save a few trades though, because you're a bit low now. Trelmit, Longy, thoughts on? I can go to Preston. Require 2 trades. I'm trying to save trades for round 18 or later. Fletcher Sharp to Karaz. Bang. Easy, easy. You got a loophole there with Finu, King Tonga. Perfect. Duffy and Lawson is a bit of a problem for you, but you're just going to have to roll with that. Hopefully Duffy plays in the Origin week. That could be a savior for you. Yeah, simple 1 trade. You don't have too many trades left. So 4 trades left. Do the single trade this week, and you're in a great spot, man. Noah, hey Longy, thoughts on doing these 2 trades? I'm low on trades. Cooked. Do I do Sharp straight to Karaz, which leave me short a wing fullback center for next week? Lawson doesn't play. Or do I double trade Sharp to Walsh? Let's have a look at what you suggested here. So you got Sharp and Tavar to, yeah, I like this. As long as you've got the hooker cover. So you got Cook, then you got Duncan in the middle forward spot, and you have Tapane, Kolomatangi, May. Yeah, there we go. Aitken, yeah. Okay, you're all set. Pump these trades, man. You're so flush at the forward spot that you can afford to make that move and get off Jazz. For most teams who need Jazz, I wouldn't get off him, but for you, I think it's a good spot. Also, Michael Werner, shout out, mate. Just jumped into the Casual Athlete crew. Appreciate you, bro. CFA, kia ora, Uncle Longy. Uncle Longy. You must be young. Not sure on who to target or what trades to do this week. Either edge, mid, or center. Fullback, around 18. Not sure targets keepers. Cut price Walsh is fine. Yeah, re-injury, absolutely. That's department. Yeah, I wouldn't get too many other dead spot cheapies. So let's see these trades. Walsh and Jenkins to Paps and Karaz. I like that a lot for upside. That is very streaky. Karaz and Walsh and Preston. Walsh and Preston or Karaz and Walsh. And Hubner goes instead of Jenkins. Probably try to keep Hubner. Just looking at these trades here. So I'm probably leaning towards Karaz and Pappenhausen if your wing fullback needs the help. You got Garrick, Turbo, Drink, Lucas Farmworth. You already have Campbell though. You're pretty flush at wing fullback, man. You got Campbell and you got these 3 as well. And if you add 2 more wing fullbacks, it's probably a bit too much. So I'm going to say Preston and Walsh is the play. Or Preston and Lehigh Opawadi you could think about as well. Preston and Walsh is the play here, man. I would jump on those 2. Walsh does have a bit of risk, 100%, but I think you need to beef up the forwards more than you need to beef up the wing fullback anyway. And yeah, Pappenhausen doesn't quite fix your issues. So decent rank, no trades there. Also, by the way, if you think the Storm are going to light it up down the stretch, you can go the Pappenhausen route. Like it's a close call between those 2 trades. I'm more just leaning towards beefing up the edge back row spot. So let's see, rank 70, mate. Boom, boom. Top 100 badge there too for Palo. Love it, mate. Love it. So we got a lot of green dots here. All right, 1 wing fullback spot we got to fill. Turbo is going to suck in there, and then Walsh will loop up as well. Then yeah, cool. Kautonga and Sharp to using, yeah, bang. Perfect, mate. Pull the trigger. That's easy. They're easy trades. Your team's in a good spot, man. Isora, how you doing? Good to see you. Mate, you've written me a paragraph here. Bit of a stink week for me last week with Jaci and Smith not even playing. Yeah, I have those two as well. It sucks. Dropped to rank 1K on the dot. Hoping to get him back quickly for the rest of the season. Here's my trades for this week. Let's see. Let's see what you got here. So Sharp, Smith, Lawson. Oh my God, you have a lot of money. You have a lot of money. Okay. I'd probably scrap the Lawson and Finu component of this trade myself. So if you do that, it actually frees up another 32K, which takes you up to 573K for your budget. 573K doesn't really change your life in terms of who you can afford. Turbo, Garrick, Carraz, wing fullback you got, Tedesco, Campbell. I can throw either. Yep, that's cool. Yeah, I would scrap the Lawson and Fino component and just target someone at that sort of 573K price point. So you're either you could go. I don't hate the idea of Jaden Brayley. I think he's a goer. Reese Walsh, Leo Apawadi. Like, just have a look at what you require. Shoot me some ideas if you want to, but I would minimize the trades. Lawson to Fino, like, because you have Savala and Hughes already, you don't really need Fino. So I would scrap that part. Just do 2 trades. Keep it simple. And your rank's in a good spot, but you just want to save a few trades because end game upgrades are a massive part of the game. Crossy, and I'm gonna have to finish up in a sec, guys. So I'll quickly try and blast through. Oh, that we're at 6 p.m. That's good. Sharp to Kraz, yes, love it. Bench, you got Smithies, Yongi, King Tonga, Brimson, and the loop as well. Yeah, mate, you're set. White, so you got a middle forward loophole going on between Smithies and AFB, technically, I guess. Okay, so you might want to reshuffle your bench, but otherwise, that's a good trade. Yeah, 7 trades left, leaves you in a good position. That 5 to 8 trades is exactly where you want to be. And last one, Hurring, I'll hit this one too. So looking for advice on my trades this week. And then we have to cover NRL Noz's team as well. I did promise we'd do his. Sharp, King Tongia, Mason, Karaz. Do you need Mason or Sungy? Do you need the outside backs is my question. So you've got Drinkwater, Garrick, Purdue, Lawson. Yeah, okay. So you do need the outside backs. I would go Kraz and Mason. Kraz and Mason, man. Like that's the play there. I'll just find Noz's team. And everyone else, guys, you'll get the written reviews later. So Noz, because you did try to send it at the start. So what are you thinking? Next, do I meet last? Do I trade Kraz in or save trades because I have a full team already? It'll be hard to fit him in already. Perfect loop. AJ should do well. No point getting Kraz. What do you think? Yeah, Brimson should be okay against the Cowboys this week. I think the Cowboys win that game. You got Turbo, you got Ponga as well. I think Ponga will outscore Brimson. So I would start Ponga over Brimson pretty confidently and then do a Brimson Turbo loophole instead. I guess it's just a question of what numbers do you need for round 18, right? So you've got a pretty solid set of numbers for the forward spot. Your halves are covered. Outside backs look pretty good too. Turbo. You probably do need actually the outside backs. I'm leaning towards going Sharp to Karaz anyway for you, just because you do need numbers in the outside backs for round 18. So I'd recommend Sharp to Karaz. I know it doesn't make a massive difference this week, but round 18 next week, that's the big one, man. So that's the one you're going to have to look out for. Now, that's us done dusted. I'll quickly hit a few questions here. So Johnny comes through. The Facebook, we're massive on YouTube and tiny on Facebook. So I never get too many Facebook questions. Keep KPP or go Preston. I would keep KPP. I think KPP could survive. He should be okay. But if he has another bad score, then we can look at that next week. Then Mariner leaving the Broncos, rough go as well. And then, sorry, Patasi. I'll get yours written, mate. And then, yeah, cool. Well, look, guys, that's me done and dusted for today. I got to jump off. It's been the hour, but appreciate you guys. Everyone who hasn't been covered. So if you haven't had that little fire react on yours, it means you get a written review later as well. I'll write those up. Also, As always, share your ideas in level 1. Help each other out in level 1 too. That's a really cool one. You just got to make sure, give a bit of advice, get a bit of advice. I'll jump in as well. Like that's sort of what this is for, right? Like we just want to help each other out. But I'll give those written reviews later too. Appreciate you guys. And you know what? Patasi's asked across YouTube and Facebook. So I'll do yours. What's your name on Discord, mate? If it's not Patasi, I'm gonna be pissed off. Raya. You've got 10 seconds to answer. What is that answer? 10, 9, 8, 7. Acetate. Okay. Where even are you? All right, one more. I can't say no. It's too hard. Yeah, next week, jump on at 6 p.m., guys. Everyone who's 6 p.m., we'll go as long as we need to go to get all the 6 p.m. ones done. That's the big one. I know it sucks. It's just after. I can't see you, Acetate. Sorry, mate. Can't find you. Cheers, guys. All right. Gonna have to get a written one, man. But appreciate you guys. I'm jumping off now. Have a great night. Get those trades in. Remember tomorrow as well, we do our live show 6:30 till 7:30 p.m. on Thursdays. That's Sydney time. So it's just before the main game. Main game at 8 p.m. You'll be sweet. And I'll see you guys there. We'll get a bunch of guests on that as well. We'll talk captains, last minute start sit, all that sort of jazz. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.